All right, so a couple days ago I made a post about overtraining, and I just want to expand on that really quickly because I think there is a little more nuance to the topic than I was able to get into. So the point of the post was basically to show people that overtraining is actually a lot less common than most people realize. And it doesn't just sort of happen by accident. You don't just train really hard for a few days or even a few weeks, and then all of a sudden you're going to build up all this fatigue and you're going to start losing gains. That's not how it works. And to make that point, I showed a few scientific studies which basically showed that even when you throw these brutally high volume, high intensity, high load training programs at people, they usually don't actually overtrain. But I think a lot of people found this counterintuitive because we've all had the experience where we feel really tired from training, especially if we've been training really hard for a long time. So what's going on there? I think there's a few things. So let me clear this up. First, those studies do only last for 2 to 4 weeks at a time. So it is possible that if you kept going with that training for a longer period of time, you would see true overtraining. But I think another source of confusion is the fact that there's a difference between overtraining and overreaching. So in the scientific literature, overtraining is defined as a persistent drop in performance that lasts for weeks or even months at a time. And then once you finally do rest and your body gets back to baseline, you don't see any kind of rebound in gains. Contrast that with overreaching, which is a lot more common, and I would say most of us have experienced it at some point in our training. Overreaching is when you see a drop in performance that lasts for a few days or as much as a few weeks. And it's also accompanied with overreaching symptoms. So those are things like you feel really tired all the time, you feel less motivated to train, maybe you're a little more sore than usual, your joints are achy, you may not be sleeping as well, and you see that drop in strength performance. If this only lasts for a day or two, it's probably no big deal, but if you notice that as a recurring, persistent theme in your training, then what do? All you need to do is take a deload week. So take a week where you train a little bit lighter, drop your volume back. So if you normally do 3 or 4 sets per exercise, do 1 or 2 sets per exercise. And if you're the type of person that always goes all the way to failure on every single set, just stop doing that for a week. This isn't going to slow your gains down. In fact, if you are truly overreached, by taking the deload week, you'll actually see better gains when you come back and you start training hard again. And that's called the supercompensation effect, where in true cases of overreaching, we do tend to see a rebound where you actually make better gains once you recover, once you get back to baseline. But I do think that the overall message should be that you can go in the gym, you can push yourself really hard, and you probably don't need to worry about true overtraining. If you are overreaching, take a week, train a little bit lighter. If you're in a caloric deficit, maybe boost your calories back up to maintenance for a week. That'll fix you up. You'll get back in the gym and make better gains than you were ever making before.